Hey guys, David here with SNS. I was hoping to get you guys some footage of us out on the water using the Pelican Catch 110s yesterday. We headed out to Port Mansfield and dropped in, and unfortunately we had some windy conditions, and so the water was pretty choppy, and we decided to just fish and leave the video for another day. No worries, we're gonna go back out there later on this week, so we'll have some footage of us in the water, and hopefully we can hook some fish while we're out there. For today, what I wanted to do was go over the parts and process over building the Kayak Cart. This is a PVC Kayak Cart, and I want to just cover the parts that you're going to need if you want to build one of these for yourself, and a bit of the process. I do only need one cart, so I'm not going to do a build today, but I'm just going to cover the main components and the pieces you're going to need to purchase and the tools that you're going to need to put it together. Alright, so first up, the material I'm using for the cage here is PVC. I'm using schedule 80 PVC here. You don't need to go with 80, you can go 40. I wouldn't recommend going any lower than that. Schedule 80 is pretty durable. That's why I picked this. It is also more expensive, so if your kayak isn't too heavy, you can try out a 40 schedule. It should work just fine. Actually, there's a video posted by Kelly Concepts where he uses a schedule 40. He actually has the step-by-step build on a video he posted on YouTube, and I have that link. I'll put that in the description. But basically what you're gonna need, they sell these PVC pipes at lengths of I believe 10 feet, and you only need one pipe. So you get one 10-foot length PVC pipe. You have these T's right here, and you're gonna need 7 T's. Okay, by the way, this is 3/4 inch pipe. Okay, so all the fittings are also 3/4 inch. So you'll need a 3/4 inch 10-foot section of PVC. You'll need 7 of these T's, 3/4 inch as well. Okay, and then on the caps here, these I used regular schedule 20 because they're not really used for support or anything. They're just kind of caps, end caps to kind of keep the water out here, and to just for the looks, really. On the lengths, so the lengths I cut these, you have 3.5 inches on each one of these connecting sections. 3.5 inches, so that I cut 3 on this side and 3 on this side, so I had 6 3.5 inch sections. These sections in the middle were 8-inch sections. This one up here, I waited until this bottom portion was built. I built this bottom column first, and once that was built, I went ahead and measured from here to here, and you're going to get slight differences depending on what you're using to cut. And I went ahead and sat these in here before I put this pipe in, just to make sure that everything fit well. So I measured once this bottom part was built, and then I cut that pipe to fit and installed it. On the top here, you also have 8-inch pieces. So you're going to have 4 8-inch pieces up top, and you can use some pool noodle there for the loading. On the wheel, we have a 3/4 inch lock nut, 3/4 inch washer. On the inside of that wheel, you also have a 3/4 inch washer and 3/4 inch nut. Now, when you put these together, you want to make sure that you don't tie it up too tight, because you want that wheel to spin independently of the axle. The axle, by the way, is a 3/4 inch rod, and it's threaded, a threaded rod. So inside here inside this whole pipe here is a threaded metal rod. Okay, so that's really what's supporting this whole structure. Finally, the stand here is kind of up to you what length you want. I wouldn't make it too long, just because the longer it is, the more you have, the more you risk it touching the floor when you're moving your kayak. So mine here is about 18 inches. Okay. The tires, I got these at Lowe's. These are Marathon tires. I actually bought all these pieces at Lowe's. And the only other thing, these caps, these end caps, you are going to have to drill a hole through that end cap right here. I use that end cap so that if there's any rubbing going on, it wears on the cap and not the actual structure. Okay, so you're going to need, for this project, you're going to need a hacksaw. Something like this is fine. And you're going to need, of course, a tape measure and a couple of wrenches to lock in the nuts. And you're going to need some PVC glue. I used Fusion, this single step PVC cement. So you just rub that on the inside of the tee and then put in your pieces. Okay, so that's pretty much it on the build, on the list of materials and the process of what I went through to put this together. Like I said, there's a step-by-step video putting it together made by Kelly Concepts. I'll put that link again in the description. So one thing to keep in mind is that this cart here is built specifically with the Catch 110 in mind. I have a very wide body because the kayaks have a very wide hull, and so I used PVC Schedule 80 because when I have the kayak fully loaded, it's very heavy and I wanted this to be nice and durable. If you're not carrying a lot of gear and you want to budget a little bit, I would go with Schedule 40 because it's a lot cheaper. So you would get Schedule 40 fittings on the tees and on your PVC pipe. The end caps, I recommend just going Schedule 20 because they don't really need to have, you don't really need to have anything stronger than that. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to load your kayak onto your kayak cart. I'm doing this on grass, so I'm not really worried about the back end rubbing on the floor. If you're on gravel or cement or anything that's going to scratch up your kayak, you might want to use 2 people. But basically, you just line it up. You want to point your stand towards the kayak because you want that stand at the back. You're going to be pulling with the front end, so you want that stand pointing to the back. Line it up. Lift. Pull and drop. Okay, so it's nice and situated there. And you're able to rotate this and it'll carry the entire weight, and you see moves with ease. And this is half loaded right now. I have my seat, my pedals, which are pretty heavy, my paddle, my anchor, and my life jacket. All that's on there, and it really moves around pretty good without hardly any effort. So that's pretty much it for the DIY cart, guys. If you liked the video, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.